let's flip a coin. Heads Carolina, tails California, somewhere greener, somewhere warmer, up in the mountains, down by the ocean, where it don't matter, as long as we're going somewhere together.
Hello, it's Andy Graham of hoboontheroad.com. I have one of the oldest running travel blogs on the planet, and I've written about, I don't know, 8,000 posts. And some of the worst advice I got read in travel, I read it actually, The Lonely Planet. There's a book on how to be a travel writer, and it said, avoid cliches. Avoiding cliches is very bad advice. The reason why this is that yes, we don't want to. Basically, the goal of saying avoiding cliches is you don't want to annoy the reader. Okay, and so if you say the same exact phrase over and over and over again, obviously you're going to annoy your readers, your steady readers. Then you got your new readers, which is on the internet. On the internet, everything's new. First time on the page and whatever. But you could say, I want to give an example, they're going to say the panoramic view, or majestic mountains, or awe-inspiring sunset. They have these phrases that are like patent. You know, everybody says them. And the truth is, your reader is wanting that. The reason why is because they want to know that they're going to stay in a cheap hotel, in the best hotel in the city, and all these little phrases that are said by travel writers. Why do they do this? They're planning a trip, and they're searching for justification that they're making the best trip. Now, if it really is the best hotel in the city, then you should say it's the best hotel. If it's the cheapest hotel in the city, it's the cheapest hotel. The way you screw up as a travel writer is really by not using the cliche when it's correct, and giving the person comfort. They want comfort. Everybody wants comfort. So I could say, I'm in Kara, Togo, West Africa. If I start talking in great detail about the specifics of Kara, Togo, and I don't give a person a few comfort phrases like it's friendly locals and things like that, they're not going to feel safe. So if you really want to do a good job, you're going to say the best hotel in the city, and then you're going to compare it to 4 other hotels. You're going to say it's the top travel film, and then you're going to compare it to other travel films. Avoiding cliches is, you know, like saying, what they're trying to say is infer that a person that avoids cliches is capable of novel thinking, or they're really capable of coming up with a new idea, coining their own phrase. Okay, basically the heart of this whole thing, avoiding cliches, is not annoying your readers, but at the same sense, travel is a very risky thing for people, so they're really looking for almost a cliche, and they're also looking for, if they're smart, they don't want to hear cheap hotels. I get very annoyed when somebody says, oh, it's a cheap hotel. I said, if you don't tell me the price, I don't give a crap. Because a cheap hotel is comparison to what? A cheap hotel in Kara, Togo is right around $10. A cheap hotel in America is probably $25. But I have to explain exactly the specific location and compare it to a cheap hotel at $25. You tell me a hotel is cheap hotel. I mean, the cheapest hotel I've ever stayed in is about $2. And so to me, a cheap hotel is so everything's a comparison. So when you hear a cliche, you first want to weigh whether it's real, whether they're telling the truth, or they're just throwing out platitudes to make you feel good. If they're just throwing out platitudes and phrases to make you feel good, then it's just an advertisement. But, you know, nothing wrong with saying it's the best hotel and then comparing it to 5 or 6 of the hotels in the city and explaining why. Or you can say, but if you say it's my favorite hotel, well, that's a personal opinion. But if it's the best hotel, then it's definitely a comparison, right? Avoiding cliches, after many, many years of writing, I want to tell you, people hook on to cliches and they need them. What they don't need is they don't need annoyed. I wish I could say that writing was an easy thing, but truthfully, if you really want to be successful as a travel writer, and I'm not. I have never done this. I've never used cliches this way, but I've started realizing that people are searching for the cliches on Google and stuff. So if you just sit there and used every single cliche there was in the planet, and just kept repeating all these as a new title to a new blog post, you'd actually have more traffic than if you actually try to come up with a new one, because they're searching for the cliches. They don't really, the person that searches doesn't really have the ability to search for a novel idea. They have to search for cheap hotels. They have no choice. So the Internet's absolutely opposite of, in a way, paper stuff. You really got to stay cliche and stereotypical all the way along. Now, me, I'm actually moving towards books, and I probably will one day stop writing altogether and only make videos, because basically I'm competing with a bunch of people who can never stop writing cliches and never care if they give a comparison and never tell the truth. So how do you do that? How do you compete with people that are constantly misrepresenting the facts? Okay, bottom line, a cliche that annoys your readers is too much, or a phrase or coin. Okay, Andy Graham trying to explain how to be a travel writer.